Elf is a 2003 American Christmas comedy film directed by Jon Favreau and written by David Berenbaum. It stars Will Ferrell as Buddy, a human raised by Santa elves, who learns about his origins and heads to New York City to meet his biological father. James Caan, Zooey Deschanel, Mary Steenburgen, Edward Asner and Bob Newhart appear in supporting roles. Elf was released in the United States on November 7, 2003 and became a major critical and commercial success, grossing $220 million worldwide against a $33 million budget. Ferrell's performance as Buddy the Elf was praised by critics and audiences alike, with many calling it one of the best performances in his career. The film inspired the 2010 Broadway musical Elf the Musical and NBC's 2014 stop-motion animated television special Elf, Buddy's Musical Christmas. It has been hailed by many as a modern classic and is often listed among the greatest Christmas movies of all time. David Berenbaum initially wrote the script in 1993, with Chris Farley and Jim Carrey being early candidates to play Buddy. Berenbaum's screenplay underwent unaccredited rewrites by Scott Armstrong and Chris Henshey and the writing team of Adam McKay and Will Ferrell. Gary Shandling was offered the role of Walter Hubbs but declined. Wanda Sykes was originally cast as Grimble's manager, Wanda, but later dropped out. Terry Zegoff was offered to direct the film, but he turned it down in favor of Bad Santa in 2003. According to Favreau, the script was initially much darker and did not interest him, although he was interested in working with Ferrell's first post-Saturday Night Live movie. After rewriting it, a turning point came when he realized he could make Buddy's world a homage to the Rankin Bass Christmas specials. This allowed him to conceive a movie plot that could be PG rated as opposed to the original script, which he guessed would have been PG-13. The film makes heavy use of forced perspective to exaggerate the size of Buddy compared to all other elves. Stop-motion animation was employed for certain sequences. CGI usage was kept to a minimum due to Favreau's own preference, something that he would later note he had to fight very hard for. Zooey Deschanel singing was not originally in the script, and Favreau added it when he learnt she was a singer. When Buddy starts singing in the middle of Santaland at Gimbals, the lyrics were not scripted, and Will Ferrell improvised the song on the spot. On September 18, 2013, Mental Floss reported that Favreau was interested in making a sequel to the film titled Elf 2, Buddy Saves Christmas. Late in December 2013, Ferrell stated that he did not want to make a sequel. In January 2016, Favreau stated that the sequel could still happen. The next month, Ferrell reiterated that a sequel is unlikely and stated that he was generally reluctant to do sequels unless there was a storyline that justifies it. On September 18, 2020, Caan reaffirmed that the sequel was unlikely, stating that Ferrell and Favreau do not get along, and both Caan's death on July 6, 2022 and Asner's on August 29, 2021 made the possibility even less likely. Elf's Buddy Musical Christmas is an hour-long stop-motion animated musical television based on the film and the musical of the same name. While Edward Asner was the only cast member from the film to reprise his role, the rest of the cast included Jim Parsons as Buddy, Mark Hamill as Walter Hobbs, Kate Minucci as Jovie, Rachel McFarlane as Emily Hobbs, Max Charles as Michael Hobbs, and Gilbert Godfrey as Mr. Greenway. It was produced by Warner Brothers Animation and first aired on NBC on December 16, 2014, and it features songs from the musical. The cast includes Will Ferrell as Buddy Hobbs, aka Buddy the Elf, an eccentric human who was raised by Santa's elves. James Caan as Walter Hobbs, a children's book publisher and Buddy's biological father. Zooey Deschanel as Jovie, an unenthusiastic worker at Gimbals and Buddy's love interest. Mary Steenburgen as Emily Hobbs, Walter's wife, Michael's mother, and Buddy's stepmother. Ed Asner as Santa Claus, a holiday figure who finds Buddy in his sack and gives him to Papa Elf to raise. And Bob Newhart as Papa Elf, Buddy's adoptive father and narrator. Now, of course, I've always been a major Will Ferrell fan, and I'm not going to sit here and say this is one of my absolute favourite movies that he's ever done, but in terms of Christmas fun family cheer, then this film is right up there. This is a good-spirited, well-natured family comedy, and it benefits greatly from Will Ferrell's funny and charming performance here as one of Santa's biggest helpers. What makes it even better, of course, is that Will improvised so many of his lines within the movie, and he really has that natural comedic timing, which so many of the best comedians do, and it was really allowed to shine through in this film. This is one of those rare Christmas comedies that actually has some depth. It has a heart, it has a brain, it has a wicked sense of humor, and it will charm you into just thoroughly enjoying it and really having a good time, and fully get you into the Christmas spirit, as it were. And for me, the reason that it fundamentally works is that Jon Favreau lets Ferrell take over. He makes the whole thing work. And without his charming, sophisticated comedic performance, this film would have fallen flat. But like I said, Ferrell carries the film on his back. And once again, Favreau as a director just understands this perfectly. He gets out of Ferrell's way. I think Favreau's own background as an actor also helps him understand the space an actor sometimes needs to create a perfect piece of work. Look, I'm not going to say this for me is one of my absolute holiday classics, but like I said, it's a fun, easy, charming film with fantastic comedic performance here by Will Ferrell. The film is silly in parts, but then again it never really takes itself too seriously. And it will always leave you with a smile and provides good cheer, and like I said, really gets you into the idea and the spirit of Christmas. I feel it's one of those films that kids can really enjoy and adults can too, for different reasons, of course. The rest of the cast play their roles particularly well, and I particularly enjoyed Ed Asner here as Santa Claus, but also it's wonderful to see James Caan in this type of film. As I say, if you're looking for a fun, easy, light comedy that will truly get you into the Christmas spirit, then you cannot do much better than watching Elf. Elf gets an 8.5 out of 10.